to another edition of Currently in Quincy. I'm Joe Catalano, and on today's program we will chat with Irene Lutz from Quinn Cycles. Learn all about what they're up to this year. First, though, we check out the weather and the news for you. Currently in Quincy, we've got some sunshine out there, a few clouds around, 47 degrees right now. It's kind of brisk with that wind, but it will top off in the upper 50s with a mix of sun and clouds later on this afternoon. Temperatures dip to the upper 30s this evening under partly cloudy skies. Another nice day tomorrow, actually a little warmer, not as windy either. Sun and clouds, high around 60 tomorrow, and then April showers move in pretty much for the rest of the week. We've got rain for Wednesday, Thursday, upper 40s for high temperatures. Looks like Friday will be wet for the first half of the day. It might clear out later on Friday, and next weekend right now is looking iffy. But it's 47, partly sunny in Quincy right now. In the news today, for the first time in over 2 years, the Quincy City Council will meet in person tonight. Council is set to meet in the Great Hall at City Hall tonight at 6:30. Council President Noel DeBona says the public will be welcome. Last time the council met in person, March 9th of 2020. When now retired Health Commissioner here, Ruth Jones, gave the City Council a coronavirus update. The council has been meeting remotely via Zoom since then. Tonight's meeting begins with the Finance Committee considering a request from the mayor for a $16.4 million appropriation that would be used to add almost 7,000 new double plots to Pine Hill Cemetery in West Quincy. City councilors will also discuss a plan by the VA to close the Veterans Clinic at Mannett Community Health Center in North Quincy. Well, State Transportation Secretary Jamie Tesler joined Mayor Thomas Koch touring Quincy Center last week. The mayor says Tesler wanted to assess the condition of the Quincy Center T station with future plans for a major overhaul or perhaps replacements of the station. The T is still working with Bizzuto Development on planning a new development at the Quincy Center station. However, the mayor says the process is still in the design phase. The mayor says some pandemic relief money could be tapped to redevelop the station. He is hopeful that some progress can be made in beginning a revitalization of the Quincy Center station soon. The future of Wollaston Center also on the radar for city officials. City is working to designate Wollaston Center an urban revitalization district. Mayor Thomas Koch says that designation would open up opportunities for private investments.
The planning board's meeting on Wollaston and the city council will be meeting on Wollaston with a new overlay district, which should incentivize further investment in Wollaston. Wollaston has gotten tired. You know, we all pine for the theater to be back and the Brighams to be reopened, but times change, and we're trying to adapt to those times and provide opportunities for new investment, not to overpower Wollaston Center, but to give some tools that would provide investment, maybe a little bit more housing, maybe some new retail locations. Obviously, the Wollaston Station's been rebuilt. It's all ADA accessible now, which was great for, Tobin Towers and 91 Clay Street. A lot of folks that they have physical challenge that live around the corner from the Wollaston T. So I think some of that groundwork's been laid. We're going to be looking at, what improvements publicly do we need to make down there with perhaps some public amenities and fixing some drainage challenges, et cetera. But so that conversation is ongoing as we speak, which is going to be great to kind of kickstart Wollaston Center as well. So a lot going on, and all of these issues have interaction with our state government. We're working hard with them to accomplish our goals.
So the Urban Redevelopment District designation is working its way through the Planning Board and will soon come before the City Council, eventually the Department of Housing and Community Development. Demolition work will begin this month on the former Lowe's Home Improvement Store on Bergen Parkway in Quincy. The MBTA says they will begin tearing down the existing building to make way for a new 2-story bus maintenance facility. MBTA, city, state, federal officials all gathered at the site recently to announce the new project, which will receive state and federal funding. Now, the new garage will house 130 hybrid electric buses. 45 of those are expected to be battery electric. It's all part of the T's plan to retire all of their diesel-fueled vehicles. The new garage will replace the over 100-year-old bus garage that's on Hancock Street right now. Mayor Thomas Koch is in talks with the T to acquire that old garage for use as an indoor sports complex. The new $250 million garage is expected to be completed sometime 2024. Save the Harbor, Save the Bay is getting ready to award grants to help pay for free family activities on Wollaston Beach again this year. Community groups such as the Friends of Wollaston Beach are encouraged to apply for those grants by April 22nd by contacting Maya Smith at Save the Harbor, Save the Bay. The grants can range from between $1,500 and $2,500. The grants will be presented during the Better Beaches Award reception June 11th at 10 a.m. at the Boston Fish Pier. A total of $250,000 will be awarded to organizations that host events on 13 state-run beaches from Nahant to Nantasket. This year, the public's encouraged to submit their ideas for what event should take place on the beach. You can learn all about it at savetheharbor.org. That's a check of news. Coming up, we sit down with Irene Lutz of Quinn Cycles. That's next. Welcome back. A great sign of spring here in Quincy is when the folks from Quinn Cycles mount up on their bicycles and head on out in all directions to enjoy the city, and that's what already has been happening. So Irene Lutz from Quinn Cycles is here to tell us all about it. Hi, Irene.
Hi.
Happy spring.
Happy spring. Thanks for having me.
Sure. Thanks for coming over. Well, before we went on this morning, we tried to figure out last time we talked, and it was remotely in 2020, right?
Yes, a really long time ago. It
Yes.
feels like a bit of a time warp. So,
Exactly. So
yeah.
it's good to be in person again.
Yeah.
Although Quinn Cycles has been in person pretty much the whole time, right?
Well, we did take a break from in-person rides in 2020,
Okay.
but last year we started riding again. Outside activities, really awesome and
Yeah.
fun. And last year we started a new evening ride series, and it's been pretty popular. We've gotten a lot of new people joining us, so lots of exciting things are happening in Quincy with biking.
That's good. How many would you say members do you have right now?
Quinn Cycles has a paid membership of around 50
Okay.
currently, but there are people who've been members who only pay for 1 year, and it's not required to be a paid member to join us on any of our events. So.
Right, which is kind of nice because you're open to all, right?
Yeah, one of our goals is to get people who are interested in trying biking comfortable biking in Quincy. So if you're new or you just got your bike or you haven't been on a bike in a long time and you want to go for a ride with us, that's what we're here for. We want you to try it and discover the joys of getting around Quincy on bike.
Okay. Just for folks who might not be aware, just a real quick history lesson about Quinn Cycles.
Sure. Despite that time work, we have been around for 10 years.
I know.
This is our 10th season of rides. So
Yeah.
in 2012, a group of volunteers got together to start the conversation about making Quincy better for biking and to promote responsible riding, whether you're a transportation cyclist, an exercise cyclist, or just a recreational cyclist. So since then, we've been leading rides every year, usually twice a month, now a little more frequently with our Monday night rides, and working with the Bicycle Commission and just trying to really make Quincy a better place. And we succeeded in getting Quincy to a level of bronze bicycle-friendly community with the League of American Bicyclists. So that's really exciting.
Okay, what does that mean?
It means that we are implementing policies. We have a complete streets policy that prioritizes all forms of transit, that we have bike lanes going in on main roads, that we have education going on, that we have an advocacy group and a bicycle commission. So all of these things contribute to a community that fosters bicycling as part of our transportation network. The next step, the biggest step, is youth education. So hopefully we can start building that programming in the city and really step up in the levels of the bicycle-friendly community program.
Make it to silver, perhaps?
Ideally, I'd love to get to platinum is the top.
Oh,
so
what would that take? No cars, just bikes?
No, no, nobody thinks that.
But that would be, I guess, what, you'd have rental bike agencies in the city?
Yeah, I think a network of prioritized off-road bikeways. I don't know all of the, we're taking it stage at a time.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Well, just the fact that there is a bicycle commission, I think, shows that the city at least thinks it's worthy, right?
Yes, yeah. And the adoption of the Complete Streets policy, which brought funding from the state into the city for some big projects, the Coddington Street bike lanes and the seasonally protected bike lanes on Quarry Street were funded by the state Complete Streets grant program. And it's it's not just a one-off grant thing. It's a policy adoption that is geared towards shifting the mindset of when you resurface roads, you're rethinking how you're going to redo them.
Okay.
To include all forms of transit, biking, walking, public transportation, as well as driving.
Yeah,
So.
I know we talked about this before the show,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
bicycle improvements assist everybody,
Yes,
not
yes.
just bicyclists, right?
I know.
Yeah.
It's funny. A lot of people, look at the new bike lanes and they say, "Oh, that only benefits the bicyclists,"
Right.
and there aren't that many bicyclists using it because I can't see them. Well, bicycling is an efficient form of transportation, so that they've moved through a little faster than cars. But also, incorporating bike infrastructure improves the safety on the street for everybody. So. TPAL has shared with the Commission that the bike lanes on Washington Street that were city funded and the bike lanes on Quincy Avenue that were state funded through a Shared Streets and Spaces grant, that those reconfigurations have already reduced the average speed on those roads. So the people who are going really fast are not going really fast anymore, but they've also been clear that the time it takes to get where you're going on those roads has not increased as a result of that change. So it's a win-win for everyone, right?
Yeah.
Drivers are going safer, pedestrians, and bicyclists also.
Yeah, there is no
Yeah.
downside.
Yeah,
Exactly.
no downside to welcoming bikes into our city.
Did we heard at the beginning of the pandemic, a lot of folks took up bicycling again or found it for the first time?
Yes, the
did-
pandemic bike boom.
Yeah. Did you find that as well at Quinn Cycles?
Well, what we've seen in the, because we were taking a break from leading
Yeah.
rides, I think everyone was riding independently
Oh, sure,
at that time.
yeah.
But what we've seen in our bike count that we do annually in collaboration with the city is a doubling in the number of people who've been biking since 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that includes a consistent increase through 2021 as well. So,
Okay. In Quincy?
In Quincy.
Wow. What do you attribute that to, Irene? What do you think is
I
going
think
on?
it's the bike lanes.
Really?
I really do. People, when you put a bike lane on a street, it validates the presence of bicyclists, and it creates an awareness on the part of drivers to expect a bicyclist, and so that fosters the sense of safety and comfort. So there have been studies done that show, there's a small percentage of people who will ride anywhere, and then there's a slightly larger percentage, maybe 7% of people in a community that will feel pretty confident most places. And then there's a huge chunk of people who are like, I'd really love to bike, but I don't feel safe,
Yeah.
or there's just no comfortable space for me to get from
Yep.
here to there. There's that big road that blocks me off.
Yeah.
So if you can address those connections, and if you can create a comfortable space for people to bike, there's a large group of people who will take advantage of that at least occasionally.
Sure.
And then there's the people who won't ever bike, but they benefit as well, because if people
If they're driving
occasionally
safer, right?
they're driving safer,
Yeah.
and if other people are occasionally choosing to bike, then you have more room and less congestion.
Right.
So
Right, or if they're pedestrians, it's safer for them as well, right?
Exactly.
If people are driving slower, it's safer to cross a street safely. So again, win-win.
it's a win-win all around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does Quincy need more bike lanes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we have a bike network plan from 2015 that we have gotten partway through with the funding in the budget that the mayor has generously provided.
Okay.
And we can do more. There's more to do, and those plans are without any changes to parking, without any changes to curb lines. Now, for those of you who may have biked on Quarry Street, with the seasonal bollard protections that are in there, we're waiting for those to go back up this spring. It'll
Okay.
be nice when they do. That type of infrastructure, when it's separated from cars by a physical barrier, is the most comfortable and
I
the
would
most
think.
inviting.
It's almost like a
Yeah.
wall between you and the traffic, right?
Yeah, it feels like
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
right.
So, or if you're up on a curb level, if you've been riding in Boston, there are a lot of separated bikeways that are separated by a curb. They're next to on the pedestrian level
Yes.
of the streetscape. That kind of infrastructure is going to be the most inviting to those people who are concerned. But any bike infrastructure builds the community.
Yeah.
And so, yes, we do have more to do.
Okay.
But we're on the path.
Yeah.
We're pedaling forward.
And other, very good. You're getting it in gear. And other communities are taking note. I read just recently that Milton is now looking to improve their bike infrastructure, if you will.
Yes, this Thursday they're having a public meeting via Zoom about their
Right.
building their pedestrian and bike network, similar to what Quincy did with MAPC, I believe,
Yeah.
in developing our bicycle network plan. So.
Speaking of MAPC, I know they're working now on redeveloping Wollaston Center, so I'm sure bicycle infrastructure will be part of that whole redevelopment
I am hopeful.
discussion. That'll be something the Bike Commission, I'm sure, will address, right? Because
Yes.
Quinn Cycles do have a representative on the Bicycle Commission?
Yes, we have 2 representatives
Okay.
from Quinn Cycles out of the 3 community members.
All right.
2 of our clerk and myself are representatives on the commission.
Sure. Okay. So you can advocate for that, I'm sure.
Yes, we can.
Is there safety in numbers when you're bicycling, Irene? Do you think it's safer to be with a group like Quinn Cycles as opposed to be out on your own?
So I think there is safety in an increased number of people bicycling
Yeah.
in general.
Okay.
Because, again, the more people biking, the more drivers are aware of bicyclists, the more we're expected and anticipated. I think there's a level of comfort that can come when you're biking with a group
Yep.
of people, and that's one of the things that we do on our group rides. So on the second Saturdays of the month, we tend to do rides that are slower and less, maybe 8 to 12 miles,
Okay.
not at a very fast pace. I like to say we ride slow and talk a lot too.
Okay.
So then we're going to have one of those this weekend. It's
Oh.
the second Saturday of April, and we've invited the city's public historian, Bob Damon, to join us, and we're going to ride to a bunch of Quincy's iconic historic sites.
Fun.
So we'll
Okay.
visit the birthplaces, the Granite Rail, and we're going to do the Maypole Park in Marymount.
Oh, yeah.
I said the birthplaces, the Peace Field and the Dorothy Quincy House.
Okay.
So, and hopefully he'll be able to give us all some new insight into these treasures that we have in the city. And we'll get to show people how to get there by bike. So
Very good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you mentioned the Monday night ride, so there's a ride tonight, right?
yes,
Okay.
we're right tonight. We meet at 6 o'clock outside at City Hall at Hancock Adams Common.
Okay.
And last year we did hill rides every Monday, and this year we've decided to alternate a hill ride and a flat ride.
Oh, all right.
So
Okay.
this is a little slightly longer distance. We're averaging about 14, 15 miles on Monday nights. So
That's quite a bike ride.
all in Quincy, which is
Okay.
really wonderful. And, biking is the most efficient form of transportation. So what you can walk in 10 minutes, you can bike in 3. So,
Seriously?
Yeah, it's 3 times faster than walking
Okay.
on average. So, but it's fun. So tonight our plan is to ride through West Quincy a little bit and then out Howe's Neck and come back to the center.
Fun. Okay.
Yeah.
Meet at 6 o'clock, Hancock Adams Common.
Yeah.
Don't have to be a member.
You do not have to be a member.
Okay.
No, just bring your lights because we are riding close to sunset, and you're
Yes.
legally required to have lights on your bike. So
Interesting. Okay.
yeah, and if you don't have lights, don't let it stop you. Come, I will bring some sets of lights that we have to share with people who need them.
Okay. Light reflective clothing, I'm sure, is
Ideally,
always
yeah.
suggested,
So
yeah.
I always say there are 5 B's of bicycling. You want to bike ready. You and your bike need to be ready. You want to
Yeah.
be visible. So wear clothing that helps you be seen. You want to be aware, and you want to be predictable, and you want to obey the rules of the road.
Very good. Okay. You brought some pictures with you.
Oh yes, yes.
Let's
I
get
did.
a glimpse at what Quinn Cycles looks like when they're out there. And
Sure.
this was a
Oh,
great
this
shot.
is one of
Yeah.
our favorite events. So every year we do a bike-powered food drive,
Yep.
and we call it Cranksgiving. It's a national movement. It's a food drive, a bike ride, and a game, kind of all rolled in one. And different communities across the country do it differently. And we keep it simple. We invite anyone to join us. You can purchase as much or as little as you feel comfortable carrying or donating, and we bike to the stores together, help each other watch our bikes while the others go in and shop, and then bring it all back and have a little party, and then usually we have a raffle of donated items. So bike related, this year we gave away some helmets and bike baskets. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
This is all to benefit Interfaith Social Services.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We want to give back to our community.
Super. I know they can use the help for sure.
Yeah.
So everybody
Yeah.
wins in this particular situation too. Let's check the next one out.
This is one of our Monday night hill rides from last year.
Okay.
So this is a group, we're all celebrating the fact that we made it up to the Chickatawit Overlook, which...
Oh, yeah. Okay. I see the Prudential in the background there. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that is quite a climb, but it's a lot of fun. We all take it everyone takes it at their own speed. We
Yeah.
all wait at the top till everyone's there. We don't leave anybody behind on our rides. And it's just a lot of fun to be at the top and cheer the next people coming on, or be that person getting cheered on, which
Yeah.
is I'm usually toward the back. So
Your own mini marathon, right?
yes, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice.
These are our second Saturday rides. Last year we started all of them over at the Wollaston Bike Cage at the station there.
Yep.
And Bob Mackey has been our designated leader for these rides, and his goal is really to show people the non-stressful ways to get around Quincy by bike that already exist. So, and also to celebrate all of the new bike lanes going in.
Okay, very nice.
Yep.
Couple more, I think.
This was our first ride this season. This was our Monday night ride back in early March. So we started out at City Hall. It was a pretty chilly night, so
Looks like it.
not
yeah.
as many people coming out when it's cold. Last year, I think I sent you a photo of one of our late December rides where we were riding at night and being bright and bold, as we call it.
Bright and bold in
Yeah.
the middle of winter.
Yep. And this was just the end of March. So the Neponset Greenway Council hosted a ride along the Neponset watershed. So all
Okay.
along the path all the way out to Paul's Bridge in Hyde Park.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I understand they're expanding the Neponset River
Yes.
Trail? Yeah.
Yes, the Neponset Greenway is going to be expanded north. It's in design right now, and right now the trail ends at Tenay Beach, and so it will extend from Tenay Beach behind Boston Bowl. There's a overgrown kind of wild space back there along the highway that they're going to turn into the path. It'll cross under Victory Road, and then there will be a beautiful boardwalk out over the water so that bicyclists avoid, and pedestrians, because it'll be a multi-use,
Okay.
it's a multi-use path, will avoid that off-ramp onto Morrissey Boulevard, and the path will let you down onto the sidewalk on Morrissey,
Excellent.
closer
Okay.
to the Harbor Walk at UMass. So.
So that's a state project. It's gonna
Yes.
be-
Yeah, a couple of years we have
Couple
to
years?
wait, but,
Oh, all right. Okay.
it's coming.
Okay.
Yeah.
right. And our last picture here.
Oh, this was one of our Monday night rides last year as well. So I love Quinn Cycles. We have a lot of women who ride with us, and some people say that the number of women who are riding in a city is indicative of how safe and comfortable it is to ride. So
interesting.
it's really wonderful that we always have so many. We have such a diverse group of people by age and gender and nationality, and everybody joins us. So we're super happy to welcome everybody on our
Nice.
rides.
Yeah. Do you think now, with the cost of gas, Irene,
I know,
so high,
yeah.
more people are going to say, I only have to travel a few miles every day. Maybe biking is my way to go.
Oh, there's such a large percentage of trips that are under 5 miles, under
Yeah.
3 miles even, that can be so easily done by bike. And I think with e-bikes that are now becoming more and more popular, even trips that are longer distance or that have a hill that you might be intimidated by on a regular bike are not going to be as daunting to people who want to try riding.
So electric bikes.
Yes,
Okay.
electric bikes.
So not just electric cars now, electric bikes.
No,
and-
and electric bikes have been shown to be a viable alternative to car trips. So you can get an electric cargo bike and carry all the stuff you need, including your children, like I've done. You can make it up those hills more easily. There's pending legislation, or it's in committee. There are 2 bills at the state level right now. One talking about a rebate for the purchase price of an e-bike,
Okay.
and one talking about classifying the types of e-bikes that exist. A lot of other states have already done this. Massachusetts law is currently based on mopeds and scooters and higher speed vehicles. So the 3-class system that this new legislation is proposing would help municipalities regulate which vehicles can be on paths like the Billings Salt Marsh Trail or the Neponset Greenway, or if it happens, the President's Coast Highway that is in design phases right now.
Yes, yeah.
I've been to meetings about that project, and it sounds so much like the Greenway that I would be excited to have it here. But
Yeah, I had BJ Foley and Scott Bishop here not too long ago to talk a little
Yeah,
bit more about
yeah.
that, so it's interesting. Do you have to register an e-bike like you do a motorcycle? Or
that's part of the need for clarification
Okay.
about what constitutes an e-bike versus a moped scooter.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are they expensive?
They can be.
Can they? Yeah.
can be. So the rebate is a minimum of $500,
Okay.
Up to $750 for income qualifying families, and no more than 40% of the cost of an e-bike. The e-cargo bikes are the most expensive ones
Okay.
because they're giving you a longer vehicle carrying space.
Yep.
and
Yeah, I would think
yeah.
that'd be for delivery services, perhaps.
A lot of delivery services
Yeah.
are trying out e-bikes. Yeah.
Okay.
But I used an e-cargo bike with my family
Because
for many years.
You've been biking for many, many years.
Yeah.
So,
And I see more and more of them in Quincy and other places as we build out the network, and
Interesting.
people feel like, oh, I'm going to try that.
all right. QuinnCycles.org is your main website.
Yeah,
Ruth?
yeah.
You're all over social media, I know,
Yeah.
as
Thank
well.
you, yeah.
Or just meet up on Monday nights, 6 o'clock in front of City Hall.
Yeah, or email me at quinncycles@gmail if you have any questions about biking or biking in Quincy, or you want to, find out what time our rides are or get on our email list to learn about our work.
Great to talk to you, Irene. Thanks for coming over.
It's always a pleasure, Joe. Thanks
Thank
so
you.
much.
You're very welcome. Just enough time to check the forecast. Looks pretty nice for a bike ride today, actually. For the rest of the day, we'll have a mix of sun and clouds. Kind of brisk and breezy, but temperatures in the upper 50s later. Chilly tonight, upper 30s tomorrow. My pick of the week. Sunshine and clouds, but 60 degrees with light winds. So get out and bike for sure, because it's going to rain Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, probably part of Saturday as well. So enjoy the next couple of days. Thanks again to Irene Lutz for joining us today from Quinn Cycles. Thanks to our crew. Thank you for watching. Friday here on the show, folks from Quincy Animal Shelter are stopping by. Don't forget our website too anytime, qatv.org. There's our latest programs there, news and information, video on demand, live streaming, and much more. For all of us here at QATV, I'm Joe Catalano. We'll see you Friday.